Alright, bruh fans. Now, I really didn't think I'd be doing this video, but I figured since we had 3 episodes drop at once, and I had a decent amount of things to say about every single one of them, that I would do this video kind of giving my overall thoughts. Now, if you haven't watched my separate episode reviews, I highly recommend doing so, because this is kind of a condensed summary, but also giving my thoughts and hopes for the remainder of Season 2. Now, I do recall they wrapped up Season 3 filming not too long ago. Same with Sister Season 4. So both of those shows have another season, coming down the pipeline, probably, no doubt, in 2022. Yeah, because I believe both Bruh and Sisters will be running Season 3 Sisters, Season 2 Bruh until the remainder of 2022. And then, of course, 2021, and then next year's 2022. But I hope that what I say in this video doesn't age poorly, as in with only 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 21, 22. I want to say about, give or take, 7 or 8 episodes left of Season 2 and then Season 3. I felt like these episodes did a great job establishing what's to come in the back half of Season 2. Great character moments. I think the comedy really worked. I think for whatever reason, it seemed like the back half of this season did a great job in utilizing the characters to their best capacity, where for the most part, I don't think there were certain characters who overstayed their welcome. But for me, the thing that got me the most is the freaking pacing in these episodes have been so well done. Like, I don't really recall the first 10 episodes that well. Like, I know the gist of it. Tom trying to help the bros stay together, Mike becoming more distant, John trying to stand on his own feet but meeting Lydia, Bill having this either will he, won't he with Regina and Natalie, and then the group of mean girls led by Pam pretty much ruining the bros' lives and friendship. But for the most part, I don't remember. Well, no, there were a few episodes I felt like the pacing was bad, but these 3 episodes in a row, holy crap, I don't think we spent too much time on any particular scene. Each scene served a purpose, which led to the greater narrative of, spoiler alert, Mike's drug addiction, which we had no idea about, which honestly, if you watch my episode review of episode 13, I didn't feel was an ass pull. Like, there were signs that, I could believe it. Miss Alice, I felt like this was some of the best writing we've ever seen from Miss Alice in these 1.5 seasons so far. The fact that her and Lydia hit it off, and now we have to deal with John dealing with this murderer as a potential love interest, because I feel like now John is going to try to distance himself from Lydia and be like, okay, you know what, I'm not the kind of guy you're looking for, because if somebody just said I murdered somebody, you probably don't want to piss him off, so you have John who's probably going to want to distance himself from Lydia. But I could see her and Miss Alice being besties, and while Lydia thinks, oh, I'm getting so close to Miss Alice, so me and John are going to be close too, and it's going to be a, nah, I don't really like you like that thing. I could feel that being his story arc for the season, if not into Season 3 as well. Whether or not Darla is going to be willing to open herself up to Greg, given that he's just gotten out of a divorce, and Greg trying to hold the group together, and then Bill proposing to Regina but then not wanting to get married so soon. It's like, well, are you going to lose her forever or what, bro? What are you going to do? So I don't know when Tom is supposed to come back into the episodes, but to be completely honest, Tom being absent in my mind didn't really affect the story that much, which is a good thing. And what I mean by that is, Jeremy, are you saying you don't like Tom? Hell no, he's one of my favorite characters. But I'm saying that, kind of like Assisted Living Season 2, while I continuously praise that show for utilizing characters very, very well, because not every character has to be in every single episode. And when you have a certain amount of characters to play with, you make the most out of the time you have with each of them. That's where I think Bruh Season 2 has been succeeding in these 3 episodes. So I understand that these seasons are relatively long, so there will eventually, inevitably be a filler episode. I just hope that season 2 does not do what season 1 does, which is how long was the wedding saga, if you will? You know, when Bill decides to crash Regina's wedding. That felt like 3 to 5 episodes. It probably wasn't, and I don't mean to exaggerate, but I mean, you had the episode where I'm going to get the horse, and then Regina has cold feet, and then Bill falls off the horse, and then he's in the hospital, and then they show up to the wedding, and then the fight breaks out. Then the next episode is, I'm not marrying you, I'm marrying Peter, and then Regina doesn't want to marry Peter. So as long as we don't have prolonged storylines like that take up so much of the season and not really go anywhere, I think season 2 is going to be good. I thought part 1 of season 2 was alright. Like, it wasn't bad. I thought it was, you know, okay. It's like, okay, Tom's just kind of here. Tom is just there to help the bros, but we give him a storyline that takes him out of the story. But then again, you introduce Greg, who I feel like has gotten a lot more than he bargained for. But at the same time, I love the fact that we don't have Greg just running around like David was for Jim during like the last couple seasons of the Haves and Have-Nots, where Jim is in the hospital and then David is like, hey David, can you go see Catherine in jail? Can you see where Wyatt is? Can you see this person, that person? Okay, Jim, I'll handle it. And he's just like a go for this, go for that, a gopher. But thankfully they gave, or should I say Tyler Perry, because I think he's still writing and producing everything for bruh right now. So Tyler Perry did a good job of adding this character to the fold. He's new, but not new to the character continuity because they remember him from college, but not boring, because he could have easily said, yeah, we're going to write Tom out and then have Greg take his place. I mean, he just so happens to be a doctor as well. He's going to be staying with Tom, so it's like Tom never left. But the difference is, since Valerie isn't in the show for some reason, and I miss Valerie, huge crush, sorry, not sorry, but I think that in the short time Greg has been around, season 2 has given him more to do in only a couple episodes than what Tom did in the first 10, because like I said before, Tom was just a guy who was trying to hold the group together, when sadly, you know, aside from Valerie being gone, where it seemed like these two were kind of getting on a better relationship with each other after the, you know, false allegations she made against him, and then Tom finding out more about her past, and it's like, oh wow, okay. So he was kind of seeing her differently. But I kind of knew Tom was having his storylines just kind of, you know, vanished from the series, from Valerie gone and the woman who was being abused by her husband, who was the cop. How the ending of season 1 was like, oh damn, who's at the door? But then it's actually the guys, John and Mike, and then we don't see the woman because off screen she went down the hallway, but that was it. So then Tom's whole thing was keeping the bruh group together. But then the bomb dropped in episode 10 when he found out about his mom, so he's gone to take care of her. So the question is, you know, when Tom does come back, what's the foundation of the bruh group? You know, will he find that Greg is like, hey man, it's like things were even worse than when I left? It reminds me of that meme where Donald Glover walks in, what's that show, Community, where he walks into a room like a box stack of pizzas and then like everything's on fire. I feel like that's what, you know, Tom did. But obviously it's his mom, so he says, you know, I spent so much time trying to keep my friends together, but I wasn't even checking in on my mom. So he left a fire and Greg was supposed to put it out, but when he gets back, it's like it's like gasoline was poured on it. And you can't blame Greg, because even though Tom was in a rush, and I'm not blaming Tom, obviously, it's just that Greg, I feel, was woefully underprepared for this, because from Miss Alice's antics to Mike's stubbornness and Bill's knee-jerk reaction to things to making decisions and then not wanting to go through with said decisions regardless of how it affects those around him. I mean, he's just trying to get it on with the officer down the, you know, down the hall. He ain't got time for this foolishness. So, you no doubt John's going to come to him with issues about, hey, this girl I've been seeing, she hit it off with my mom, and she's murdered her ex-boy. She murdered her ex-boyfriend. And then you have Bill, who said, yay, let's get married tomorrow. But then it's like, oh yeah, I shouldn't have proposed. And it actually makes sense that he would go to Greg, because given the fact that Greg just got out of a marriage, so I feel like he would be I feel like he's qualified to chime in with the Bill situation. And Mike, well, I don't know about Mike, given the fact that he doesn't want to tell the bros about his addiction, at least for the first 30 days of the program he's trying to get into. We do know that Greg suspects something's off, so he might get it out of Mike to tell him. Maybe this could be their kind of thing where it's just those two and Pam who know about it. So that would actually be pretty cool, where you have the new guy, Greg, knowing something that the other bros don't. It has a bit of Sisters feel to it, where it's like, oh, Karen and Andy know something that Sabrina and Danny don't. But I think that this is a very serious thing. And obviously, I feel like John and Bill are eventually going to figure this out. And as a result, they're going to want to be there for their bruh. And, you know, Mike doesn't want it, but then he'll admit, yeah, I needed this. So I think this is a very strong storytelling. I mean, the seeds are sown for a promising back half of season 2, but I'm afraid, I'm kind of like Darla being reluctant to have sex with Greg, even though she wants to, because she doesn't want to be a rebound and a one and done kind of chick. And then Regina being reluctant to trust Bill to moving in with him, to accepting the proposal and believing he's ready to settle down. That's how I feel about bruh, because Tyler Perry will reel me in and I'm like, you got me, and then I just get disappointed. But then there's like that one cliffhanger or a teaser promo that's like, okay, I'm gonna look into the show, and then it doesn't deliver. But I will say that this is possibly the strongest trio of episodes we've gotten since the first 3 episodes of the show. And I think that these episodes might actually rank above those, where, if I'm not mistaken, okay, so you had, when the show was first introduced, we had 3 episodes. When the show came back for season 1 part 2, season 2 part 1, and season 2 part 2. So if I'm not mistaken, there have been 4 times already where we've gotten 3 episodes of bruh at once. I would probably say these 3 episodes were the best when you look at them as one, you know, chunk. So I don't want to jinx it, but I do feel like these episodes set the stage and reinforce what I've been saying before about how, in some ways, bruh is better than Sisters. And I'm not saying that just because I'm a guy. I mean, like I said, I praised episode 12 because you had Darla and Lydia being upfront and honest with Greg and John respectively about their intentions, about not just hopping in bed with the first guy that they feel attracted to. They want purpose in a relationship, and that was so cool, you know, to be upfront and honest and forward about that. So it just and even in episode 11, I think, when Regina gets called out by Bill, rightfully so, and she agrees, you know what, you're right, I mean, you would think I did something with Mike, and I can't be mad at you for that, given the fact that I thought you would do something with Pam, and we arranged this entire scenario, and then guess what? You didn't do anything. And I'm like, if this was Sisters, there's no way in hell the women would admit to their foul play. And even if they do, they would only do it to their sisters, and then they would either take forever to admit it to the guy or never do it at all, you know, when referring to the guy that they're, you know, in a quote-unquote relationship with. But overall, yeah, I can't wait to see what happens next. I am pissed that we only get 1 episode a week now. Seriously, if we can get 2 to 3 each week, I will be satisfied. Because of the fact that I think that's what makes the filler episodes so bad. when it's only like, 20 minutes and some change, and the episode's bad, and then I gotta wait a whole week for the next one in hopes that it's better. But if I'm not mistaken, I think all three of these episodes, like the first one was like 21 minutes, the second one was like 22, 23 minutes, and then the third one was like 25 minutes. So I felt like each episode was longer than the last, but at the same time, no episode felt like it dragged on. So overall, if season 2 continues with the good character pacing, if it continues with the quality of the writing, like I said, I thought it was pretty strong, all the way through. Yeah, there were some moments where, I feel like John does that. I feel like Barry is allowed to ad-lib a lot, definitely Kevin Hart-esque when he has those moments with Greg in the car, or Lydia at the bar, good stuff. And Miss Alice, I felt like the comedy, like I said, if to utilize properly, like she wasn't overly vulgar, and when she mentioned things like menopause, pregnancy, Little Dick John, it felt appropriate in the moments that they were mentioned because it's well within her character. Not everything that comes out of her mouth needs to be vulgar. She can have moments of sensitivity, like to see the literal fear and nervousness about getting old and not wanting to accept it, but even before that, getting pregnant. It's funny how she would rather accept the news of being pregnant because she missed her period as opposed to the news of menopause because she doesn't want to believe that she's old. That's real, So yeah, can't wait for Tom to make a comeback because, I wonder how he's going to deal with the situation his bros are in. But remember, if he comes back, we would hope that it's not because his mom is dead, because then he might have a chip on his shoulder about his bros dealing with issues that he's always tried to help him out with. And sadly, that's come at the cost of not being there and present for his own mother's well-being. So that could be interesting. Imagine a Tom with a chip on his shoulder because his bros have sucked up all the time that he could have had with his mother. The guy who's kept the group together might be the guy that needs everybody the most, unless you count Mike's addiction, because yeah, that's pretty serious. Bill, I have no sympathy for because he did everything to his damn self, from breaking up the wedding, even though Tom and John said, look, if you mess up this wedding, then you're going to have to commit to Regina, right? Yeah, man, I'm all in. I want to do it. And now he's like, nah. But then I mentioned in episode, what was it, episode 12 or 13 review, I think it was 13, where I talked about how Regina's kind of at fault herself because of the fact that, you didn't want to move in, but you did. Now you're willing to not only accept a proposal, but then get married tomorrow. And you just learned that Bill is just now getting some of the help he needs, which is ironic because you got Bill who's going to start getting therapy, and then you got Mike who's going to start doing rehab, and they both need these things for their respective issues. With Mike, I really would love to know what got him started on his addiction, and then the fact that him and Hayden are the only two black males at the law firm. You wonder if Hayden's been hitting some of that stuff himself. Like, imagine those two, linking up at the law firm, being the only brothers. Look, as a guy who went to Liberty University, and I think, I know my last year on East Campus in the quads, it was me and one other black person, the rest of people were white, and we were on East Campus together, like one of 3 black people on the entire hallway. So generally in those kind of settings, when there's only a handful of black people, you're instantly going to click with each other. So I feel like Hayden and Mike probably know each other well. And who's to say Hayden didn't give Mike a little something, but Mike just seems like a reckless guy, so I feel like he probably got into it on his own. Maybe he hooked up with a girl who got him on that stuff. I don't know, but I feel like maybe we'll actually see more of why Mike is the way he is, kind of like we had the moment between Natalie and Bill where we learned about Bill's past. So yeah, so long as we explore these characters and we get more growth and development, I think Bruh is on track to be one of the best Tyler Perry shows ever produced. Like I said, it's had its ups and downs, and kind of like the Overland Sisters, we can get to season 3 and then everything just falls off a cliff because it's just bad. but the back half of season 2 looks hella promising. Hashtag bring back Valerie. But with that being said, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Like I said, make sure you watch my 3 reviews, because those are where I really go into detail about each and every episode. This video wasn't supposed to be 20 minutes, but I just went on talking because I had a lot to say about how good I felt these episodes are. Like, don't get me wrong, I could watch episode 14 this week and be like, 3 out of 10, this was a bad episode, because, well, that could happen. But then episode 15, like, we're back on track, guys, we're back on track. But yeah, I'm intrigued to see where the storylines are going. That's about it. Yeah, that's about it. And I understand there are some people who haven't watched the episodes because they're like, nah, I'll get BET Plus back when Ruthless returns on a month from today, November 25th. So then you can catch up on season 2 if you haven't watched it already. But that's all I got. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Make sure you hit the thumbs up button, hit subscribe, hit the bell icon and select all. Be aware that you will be receiving notifications from our kind of entertainment, not the haves and have-nots review. Some people have been letting me know that, hey, I haven't been watching videos because I didn't know the channel name changed, even though I announced it like several times. But yeah, just be aware. And follow me on social media. Links are in the description below. And if you would like to donate to the channel, feel free to do so on PayPal or Cash App. Thanks so much for tuning in, and let me know in the comments which of the 3 episodes was your favorite and why.